From Scotland Yard, it's time for 2012 Highland Park Baseball. Tonight, the Scots play host to the Wylie East Raiders. Good evening, everybody. I'm Art Finley, joined tonight by Miles Dunklin and Jonathan Cantor. Fellas, good to be out, spring breaking it, enjoying this great weather. Very important ball game tonight for Highland Park, huh, Miles?
Absolutely. The last thing they want to do is fall to 0-2 in district, and they haven't lost more than 2 district games under Coach Oliver since he's been here. They've only lost 2 in each season, and so certainly they don't want to lose that second game this early in district play.
And Jonathan, what do you know about Wylie East? I'll help you out here. I think they're 4-5-1, best we can tell record-wise. But we know for a fact they are 1-0 in District 10-4A play as they won by a 5-0 shutout score in their district opener.
And Zach Freeman, who's pitching tonight for them, had a 8 strikeout 2-hitter and only walked 2 as well in that game. So that was a complete game for Freeman. So he's coming off a very good outing. That was against McKinney in a 5-0 shutout victory for McKinney.
Scott's going to go.
I'm sorry, for Wylie East.
Scott's will go with Matt Wilson on the mound tonight. Wilson, 9 innings pitched so far this year. He struck out 9, only walked 1 batter, and has a 2.33 ERA. It'll be Nick Lewis, the center fielder. Garrett McCain, the DH, and Jesse Brubaker due up here for Wylie East in the top of the first. And that's one way to try to get at Wilson. The bunt single, but it's a strike to Lewis.
Well, and talking to some of the Wylie East guys before the game, they definitely said they'd like to slap it on the ground and try and beat out.
There's a ground ball right there to Chris McDade at second base, and before I can set the defense, Scots have 1 out. Falgout hammers that right at the shortstop, Richards. And boy, talk about a tailor-made double play right there.
That was an excellent snag by Richards there. Gottsacker definitely thought it was going into the outfield.
Yeah, just kind of unfortunate there. I mean, he hit that one right on the nose. Couldn't have smacked it harder, but it goes right at the guy. And Gottsacker, as you said, it's such a split-second play because he took his first step to the right. Really had no chance. He just started back in the dugout.
McDade. That's laced out into right field. 2-out base hit for Chris McDade.
Oh, that was a great job there. I believe that was the slider moving in on his hands. And that's supposed to be Freeman's best pitch. And McDade was able to handle that nicely out in right field. Keep the inning alive after the unfortunate double play for Ryan Romo.
You bet, man. Keep the inning alive and bring up 4-12 hitting Ryan Romo, who's been solid all season long. Leads the Scots with 17 RBIs, 13 runs scored. He's a threat to go deep. Second inning, and leading off is Brad Oliver, the first baseman. Oliver, Jordan Wilson, and Briar Barnes, 6, 7, 8 hitters due up here. Scoreless at Scotland Yard. Fine evening for baseball here on spring break. Starting to get some fans out.
Weather, but it's ended up being real nice now.
Boy, as opposed to the last time we saw you on the air out at Quick Trip Park. Bottom of the 3rd inning here at Scotland Yard, and it'll be Jackson Hooser to lead off against Zach Freeman, and Hooser launches one down the right field line, and it goes foul. That's the quickest way to get a ball out of here, only 3:15 down that line.
Well, he hit it well, but ultimately just a long strike.
1-0, Wylie East out in front here.
Hooser battling his opposite number up there. Number 7's going at each other here.
Hooser, Falgout, or Hooser, Gottsacker, and Falgout in the 3rd inning for Highland Park. That's sky high, should be playable for the second baseman, Barnes, and he makes the play.
Man, the Scots just really not getting good contact on really anything other than Dylan May's double. Having a lot of trouble early on.
Fielder, Mark Gottsacker.
See what Gottsacker can do here.
Mark walked to start the ball game.
Of course, getting him on base would be huge considering, you know, he's a stolen base threat. He already has one in this game.
Gobbled up on that double play that's been really the play of the game so far.
called that a strike. That was way up and in.
2-2 now to Utley. Utley's little check swing to second base and moves the runner over, but Luke is out at first. So 2 down here for Highland Park in the 4th.
Hey, at least he got a man to third. That's really hasn't been happening much tonight.
That's
We'll
the first
take it.
runner to third base for the Scots.
Third baseman, Dylan May.
And Dylan May up.
Well, May had a double his first trip, so see if he can duplicate that feat.
Yeah, he seemed to be seeing the ball well out of Freeman's hands. Hit a couple balls foul really hard and no far before he lacing that double off the right field wall.
We are in the 4th inning here at Scotland Yard. Highland Park looking to get on the scoreboard. A 1-0 game. To Dylan May. Chris McDade at third base. May hammers this into left, but it should be playable, and it is. The catch is made out there by Jacob Hosking, and Highland Park is gone in the 4th inning. When we come back to Scotland Yard, it'll be Wylie East 1, the Scots 0.
Fastball on the outside half the plate. He just took it where it came from, back to the right side, the other way.
And that kind of contact just shows how hard Wilson's throwing the ball. He didn't really even swing
You're
through
right.
that, and it went basically through the infield.
And Falgout, what a throw, and they will get the runner at first base, and there's a base running mistake made by Lewis as he took off right there and challenged Falgout, who delivered a bullet down to second. I thought Lewis was going to steal that all the way.
And Utley definitely made the second half of the play there. He did a good job of keeping an eye on the runner at third base. They're trying to the old steal first, steal second, take home if they throw down. And Utley did a good job of holding the runner off.
That's a huge
got
out.
him in a pickle there.
Count 1-0 to Garrett McCain.
Yeah, had they been able to execute that double steal, it would have been very difficult for the Scots to come back, given the way Freeman's pitching. Very impressive.
And that's lofted into center field and caught out there by Nick Lewis. So Gall out on the fly ball to center. 1 away.
One hung up in the air just a little bit too long. Had it been able to drop, it probably would have been out of the reach of that center fielder.
Here's the Highland Park designated hitter tonight, William Sharp, grounded out to Freeman back in the 2nd inning. All about getting on base right now.
Yep, just got to get on base. Right now, Freeman is in a groove right now.
Now, Scott's best chance really came in the 1st inning when Gottsacker walked, stole second, and then Falgout hit right behind him.
That laser double play that went right at Richards. Held Highland Park to just 2 hits. And this is popped into shallow right field. Could be trouble, but over to make the play, the second baseman, Briar Barnes. That's out number 2 here, quickly for Highland Park in the 5th.
Tough play for Barnes there, but good play over his shoulder. Back to the left.
Who's hurt?
Yeah, we've seen a little of everything. Good pitching, good defense. Here's Jackson Hooser. See if he can get something started for Highland Park with 2 outs. Again.
Badger setting up on the outside again.
Good bunt down the third base line.
Falgout puts it down perfectly. Freeman over to first base. Falgout beats it out. And how about that for the senior catcher? So the Scots with something cooking here in the bottom of the 6th. Runners on the corners. Nobody out. We'll get a pinch runner.
It's Mason Shaw into the game.
There we go. Number 25 for Highland Park. Falgout getting a hand from Coach Fred Oliver.
For the Scots, number 25.
Huge bunt for Falgout there, going away from the defense.
Now Falgout, who just moved from Louisiana 2 years ago to come here to Highland Park. Scots have been very glad to have him. And now it'll be the end of the game for Freeman. And how about that, Art? That's been huge. Freeman's been the story in this one.
Well, he fanned 6 Highland Park hitters before running into trouble here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And the Scots with something cooking here at Scotland Yard. Runners on the corners. We've got a pitching change. Walk. And now here's senior captain Chris McDade. And McDade will bunt, squeeze play, and at the plate, and out is Gottsacker. So the gamble doesn't pay off for Highland Park right there. McCain able to calmly get the ball, to the catcher Wilson.
That is a great play by McCain to run in there very quickly. Most pitchers wouldn't get in there that quickly.
As we said, he's an athlete. He's a varsity quarterback, so that's what you got to expect him to field the position well. He did just that, and that hurts for the Scots. They had a runner on first and third with no out.
That's a potential momentum killer.
Now runners at first and second for Ryan Romo, who is due himself. 0 for 2 tonight. Romo 4-12 coming in to this game. Mason Shaw, the runner at second base for Highland Park. Get out of play, it does. And McDade at first base.
That was definitely a strategical matchup. Try and get McCain there against the left-hander, McDade. Ultimately worked out.
0-1 to Romo. 1-0, Wylie East clinging to the lead. Romo launches this into right field, but it should be playable out there for Brubaker. He makes the grab. Scott's tag.
What a throw.
And Shaw, oh baby, he barely gets to third base as Brubaker shows a gun out there in right field.
Now that was a hose from right field all the way to third base. I gotta love watching that kind of play, especially when the Scots are safe at third.
Yeah, been a very well played game.
Heck of
by
a throw.
both teams.
First out, Luke Utley.
And that's
so
tough.
2 out, and runners on the corners, and Luke Utley up for Highland Park.
I mentioned how this has been very well played. We're through 6.5 innings, and there still has not been an error.
That's a good point. He's both teams have played very well played game, no question.
Scott's looking for some bottom of the 7th heroics here in this game number 2 of the district season. And May sends it out into right field, but as has been the case all night when Highland Park's hit it, they've hit it at a Raider defender, and Brubaker makes that play, 1 out.
Man, that's unfortunate. He hit that ball so hard. Just went right to the right fielder, Brubaker.
Almost everything tonight has been hit the opposite field. You know, pitchers or the batters either not seeing the ball well off the pitcher's hand or just good velocity.
Yeah, the pitchers definitely have had the upper hand here tonight. On a nice night for baseball, really, conditions not a factor at all. A little bit of a breeze.
Ends up being a beautiful night, as you say. Good pitch.
McCain with the fastball at the knees to Gall, and the count 1-1 on Griffin. Big cut there for Milburn, strike 1.
Now he's been on base in each of his last 3 games. Shaw
and leaning off first base, Mason Shaw, and they get him. What a huge out. That's 2 now on Highland Park. And give Garrett McCain a lot of credit right there. Big time play for Wylie East.
Well, this changes the bat to a need to get a hit to a must get a hit.
And now 2 outs, 0-1 count. And another strike in there to Milburn, 0-2.
Scots down to their last strike. In danger of falling to 0-2 in district play.
And there it is, McCain with the fastball. He strikes out Milburn, and Wylie East comes into Scotland Yard, and they're going to escape with a 1-0 final count. Miles and Jonathan, we talked a little earlier about how it's a real fine line between success and failure in these district games, and tonight's game just a perfect example of great pitching.
Absolutely, you got to hand it to the arms for Wylie East, and you know, their program only 3 years in the making here. The second time they've been able to win at Scotland Yard. And Scots have very little margin for victory going forward, as a loss here tonight puts them to 0-2 in district play. And they've, as I mentioned, they've only lost 2 games every year so far. So,
right.
You better not lose any more if you're going to stay on track at this point.
Not much time to feel sorry for themselves. Highland Park will bounce back Friday night at Wylie. We'll have all of that for you here on HPTV. Well, in the end, it's 1 run on 4 hits for Wylie East. Scots shut out, 3 hits and 1 error. And Highland Park does fall to 0-2 in district play. Well, for Jonathan Counter, Miles Dunklin, I am Art Finley. We'll see you next time with more Scots baseball. Good night, everybody.
This media presentation is brought to you by many local businesses and people like you. To find out more information about sponsoring and advertising on this station, please contact Mrs. Kelly Snowden at snowdeck@hpisd.org. And from all of us here at Highland Park TV, we thank you for watching.